Welcome. Glad you could join us today. So let's get right into it. So we're here to talk about the Apple TV 4K, which was just brought out on November 4th, 2022. This is Go for Lunch for November 8th, 2022, brought to you by GoFor Technology. I'm Roger Harmon, your host, and as always, we are here to make your technology work for you. So, we're going to talk about the Apple TV 4K, the 2022 model, also known as the third generation of the 4K Apple TV. So, what is it? Well, it's a hardware streaming device. It's a little box, which we'll see here in a moment. There is some confusion because Apple TV has a streaming service. So what it isn't is the Apple TV Plus streaming service. So they're both called Apple TV. You have to look for that little plus at the end to make the choice of whether you're talking about the streaming service or the hardware device. So let's look at what you get when you buy one of these things. So we're going to go to the unboxing video. So let's unbox this. So one thing that is noticeable is the actual packaging is much smaller. The last Apple TV was in a box that was about a third larger. Another interesting little detail is that the buttons here on the box cover are embossed, so you can feel the buttons. So a nice little touch. And this is the 128 gigabyte storage, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet, and it does include the Thread radio, which we'll talk about. So here's the back of the box. 4K HDR, Dolby Vision, and Dolby Atmos, and also HDR10 Plus. And this also acts as a hub for your Apple HomeKit devices. There you can see it says Thread enabled devices from anywhere. So the packaging doesn't require any tools. Just take off these two little strips. And as is the case with Apple packaging, the tolerances are very precise. So you just have to be patient and hold it. There we go. So here it is. The older versions had TV written here next to the Apple logo, so that's a little different. It is a little smaller in physical size. And as we take off this protective tape, we can see the inputs, the power, the Ethernet, and the HDMI to go to your TV. And then we'll take off this sticker here. So this is on the older version there was ventilation around this circle here, but this new design has much less problems with heat, so they don't have a fan in this one. Most people never heard the fan in the old one, but and then there still is an LED right here which you can't really see. So let's see what else is in the box. I have a little pull tab here. So we have the remote. So this is the new style remote. Instead of the touchpad, it has a rotary control here, and then the Siri activation is here on the side. And the big thing that is different here is the USB-C charging port. And then up here you can see there's the power button. So we have a power cable. And some instructions. So here's your safety recommendations and a quick start guide pointing out the different features. So what's missing from this box? Well, this piece doesn't seem to want to come out. There's no charging cable, so you have to supply your own USB charging cable. So that's what it looks like out of the box. The 4K HDR content, which you get with the 4K Apple TV, is brighter, more realistic colors, and you have greater detail than with the 1080p resolution, also known as HD or high definition. The high frame rate for HDR, and also it now has HDR10 Plus support. So that's important if you have a late model Samsung TV. So most brands use Dolby Vision, but Samsung went their own way and they use the HDR10 Plus. So if you have a Samsung TV that supports HDR10 Plus, then this Apple TV is a good thing for you to have to take advantage of that technology. The processor is the A15 Bionic, one of the Apple Silicon processors. And many people say that it is probably overpowered, but that means that you will have future proofing as different things come down in the future. This A15 will handle it. So you have Apple TV Plus, the streaming service that you can use your Apple TV 4K for, as well as Apple Music, Apple Fitness Plus, your photos. So it's a nice feature. You can have a screensaver with your photos on it. And of course you can use the Apple TV Plus to send slideshows to your flat screen television to show off those pictures from your last vacation. And Apple Arcade, Apple's gaming service, and they've added support for more controllers. So you can use controllers for different gaming consoles with the Apple TV. So if there's people in your family that like to game, then that is a much more interesting experience with these controllers. So there's two versions, a 64 gigabyte and a 128 gigabyte. And thread support and Ethernet are only in the 128 gigabyte, and they both support Wi-Fi. So Thread is a communication system for home automation. We will be doing a video later on talking about Thread and the protocol known as Matter, which has just recently been introduced. So the Siri remote again has a USB-C port for charging, so you don't have to change the batteries. You just plug it in every couple of months and charge it up. It features a one-piece aluminum body, so it's very sturdy. And again, the ClickPad control wheel has 5-way navigation, and the ClickPad also supports touch gestures, so you can scroll and so forth with that center part of the touch wheel. So the Siri remote also has that dedicated power button, which will turn on your TV probably, as well as the Apple TV device. And then the side button for activating Siri. So Siri allows you to just search for things by saying what you're looking for. And it looks like this. On the top you have a microphone, the power button, the Siri button here on the side. This is your circular control with the touchpad enabled center part. It's also a push button. You have the back button, the play and pause button, a mute button, volume control up and down, and the TV home button, which takes you back to the home page. Now, if you have an iPhone, there's also a remote app that you can download if it's not already on your iPhone, and it looks like this. And so you can use Siri from there, but the real advantage of the app is that when you need to type something in, if you want to type in a search, or if you have to type in a password as you're setting up a streaming service, then a keyboard will appear on the remote app, and you can type it in a lot easier than doing it on the Apple TV one letter at a time. So the pricing is $129 for the 64 gigabyte model with Wi-Fi 6 and $149 for the 128 gigabyte model with the Ethernet port and the support for Thread. So if you think that you're ever going to do home automation in the future, then I would advise spending the extra $20 and getting the $149 version, and that will future-proof you for things that are coming down the pike. So there is an offer to get 3 months of Apple TV Plus for free when you buy an Apple TV. That's if you've never taken advantage of one of the free offers for Apple TV in the past. And then after your free trial, it's $6.99 a month. That price went up recently. Or if you want to subscribe now, it's $6.99 a month. There are some bundles available called Apple One, so you can look into that and save a little money by bundling some of the Apple services together. So here's the pricing from various retailers. And you can see here the last year's model of the 4K Apple TV is now $99 at Amazon as opposed to $179 at Apple. And the 64 gigabyte of last year's model is $114 as compared to $199. So if you don't have a Samsung TV, you might consider this, and you don't think you're ever going to need the Thread protocol for home automation in the future, then this might be a good buy. And you also can save $5 on the new ones at Amazon. This last one here is the older version, the HD, for $99. But if you're going to spend $99, I would buy this one. So what the Apple TV provides is one place for all your streaming services. So you can watch your Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Disney Plus, YouTube, and news channels, sports channels. Any streaming service is available on your Apple TV. So you have one place to go to control all your streaming. So there are other streaming devices out there. Roku has the lion's share of the market. The Amazon Fire Stick is popular, especially if you have the Amazon Prime membership. There's Google TV, which uses the Android TV, as do many third-party devices. So on these other streaming devices, you can learn more by watching Go for Lunch number 31, where we talked about streaming devices. So a little caveat there. I did have a little audio problem at the beginning of that video. So just watch the couple of slides that have some information on them, and then you can skip forward to 12 minutes and 30 seconds where the audio picks up again. So sorry about that. So the Apple TV app is also available on late model smart TVs. It's something that you can probably download. And it is available on some streaming devices. So the reason you would want to do the Apple TV instead of another streaming device is, especially on smart TVs, they tend not to update their apps after a couple of years. So on the Apple TV 4K, they're going to keep those apps updated for a long, long time. So how do you set up an Apple TV? Well, you connect an HDMI cable, which you have to supply, to your flat screen television set, and you plug it into a power outlet. So let's see how that works. We have a little demo here. We move into the living room. Now we're going to do the setup of the 2022 4K Apple TV. So as you can see, we're in the beautiful aerial screensaver. So we're going to take our control and press the center button, and you can see it shows us the language. We're going to press the center button here. We're going to scroll back up, press the center button again, choose United States, and continue with data privacy. And we're going to set up with iPhone. So we're going to unlock our phone, and we're going to connect to the same Wi-Fi network. We're going to turn on Bluetooth, and hold the device close to the Apple TV. The device meaning the phone. So now you can see as it came up, we'll do it again, timed out. So it's being a little stubborn here. So it says to lock the phone and try again. Okay, so it says set up. Now it says connecting, and we have a code on the screen. Okay, so now it's setting up Wi-Fi, activating. So you can see this has been highly automated. If you have an iPhone, the setup is pretty simple, as long as you get everything talking to each other over Bluetooth. and you're on the same Wi-Fi network. While we're waiting for this to set up, Gretchen, your question about how to work if it will work in Mexico. Okay, so we're going to say never require a password, and so it would require using a VPN. You can set up a VPN on the Apple TV, and then it would work in Mexico. The following settings can be transferred from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So we're going to transfer all those. Okay, so one home screen on every Apple TV. Keep your apps and home screens up to date on every Apple TV using this iCloud account. Sounds like a good idea. There's my iCloud email. And we're going to, since we have another Apple TV that's labeled living room, we're going to label this one home theater. Okay, so the Arial screensaver, we're going to say I'll automatically download because the videos update weekly and can be up to 950 megabytes. First download is about 800 megabytes, but we have the model with the most memory, so that should not be a problem. And I always like to share the analytics with the developers so they can fix things and make things better. And we have to agree with the attorneys and agree once more. And we want to try Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision is an enhanced video system, and so there you can see Dolby Vision in the upper right hand corner. The Apple TV switched your TV to 4K Dolby Vision at 60 Hertz. If you see a clear picture, select OK. So we see a clear picture, so we're going to select OK. And there we are. We are set up, and Apple is showing a preview of the Selena Gomez documentary. We're going to swipe up to see the preview and hear it. And then we're going to hit the back arrow. So here you see the different apps on the Apple TV. You can see there's Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video, Hulu, and then there's some apps here that are loading. CBS News, Business Insider. So these gray rectangles are apps that haven't loaded yet. And that just takes a few minutes to catch up. So they're loading there. You can see the circles going around. And then you can see how the center button has the touch sensitive control that allows you to scroll up and down and right and left. So now we're going into the Apple TV app, and we have an option now to use the share feature, which is somewhat new. So we're going to allow that on this device. That allows you to share what you're watching on Apple TV with other people online. And we're going to confirm with the Apple device. We're going to use our iPhone to do that. So here we have the iPhone. We've gotten the message there. So we're going to unlock the iPhone. And we're going to click on confirm at the bottom. And we're done with that part. So here we are back on the home screen. And this is the store where you can download apps and content. You can also get into sports. Apple is getting into quite a few sports. And then you have the library where you have things that you've already downloaded and either got for free, which is the case with all these, or you've paid for. So that is what the Apple TV looks like. So if you haven't already, I noticed some of you have put in some questions, and we'll talk about those in just a moment. Please share the GoFor Gazette with people you know that use Apple devices. And please like and subscribe. We're still looking for 3 more subscribers to get to 100, which is a magic number for YouTube. It gives us some benefits. So let's look at our questions. So Susan says, what will I be missing if I have the 2017 Apple TV? Well, you will be missing the new remote, which is a little easier to use. You'll be missing depending on what TV you have. If you have a late model Samsung TV, you'll be missing the HDR10 Plus. You'll be missing some things that you won't miss, like the game controller capabilities. So basically, if it's working, you should be fine. So as we mentioned, the apps on the smart TVs, such as your LG TV, are fine, but they may not be updated after a couple of years. So what 4K is just a high resolution. So all the TVs that you can buy today are probably going to be 4K resolution. So it just gives you a more lifelike picture, just higher quality, better capability as far as displaying fast motion. And then you said that you have a DVD recorder. So that's true. You can record onto your DVDs, and you actually can't record on an Apple TV. So there is no DVD function on the Apple TV itself. Now, some things, some services like YouTube and Hulu offer you a online DVD recorder, so you can store things in the cloud that you want to watch later on. So those are very good questions. Appreciate that. Hopefully that I was able to clear that up. So if there's no more questions, please let me know if you have questions after the fact. You can write me at my email or call me at my phone number, which will be here on the screen in a moment. And one thing that I did want to add is that the Apple TV does support the HomePods, both the original HomePod and the HomePod Mini, so you can use that as a sound system for your TV. Traditionally, TVs, because they're so thin, don't have great speakers in them, so you can enhance your TV sound with a HomePod. And they also will work with the AirPods. And with the newer AirPod Pro, for example, the spatial audio will work with the new 4K Apple TV. So there's a lot of features there that are new on the third generation Apple TV. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next Friday at high noon.